You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Noonan, Georgia, home of Braves country with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks, weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, right here on The Key and YouTube.com at Braves Country.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey folks, this is Mark White with The Mark White Show, and you can tune into The Mark White Show every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. right here on Rock 99 WQEE The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk.
Are you looking for a reliable dental practice that not only cares about your teeth, but is friendly to work with? How about one that offers great deals and new patient promotions? Well, your search is over. Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton, Georgia is committed to giving you the biggest and brightest smile. Right now, get a $99 new patient special, including x-rays and exam. Maybe you're looking for veneers. Most Valuable Smiles veneer special includes one free veneer with every 5 purchased. Or get that bright white smile you've always wanted by taking advantage of an exclusive $100 off Zoom whitening treatment when you book today. And don't forget that 2022 is almost over. That means most insurance policies will reset by the new year, and to avoid losing that extra money, you need to use it or lose it. Book an appointment today with Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton to lock in these exclusive deals. Call 706-623-0318 or visit mostvaluablesmiles.com.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge, so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style in dining rooms or al fresco on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
It all starts with just one thing. When recycling, rinse out jars and cans, and avoid recycling wax paper or paper soiled with food. This will reduce recycling contamination. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
Hey, sports fans. The Key has a brand new show. Braves Country is coming your way weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. Drive time on WQEE. Braves Country is a Southern sports talk show with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. We'll be talking the Atlanta Braves and Major League Baseball, along with everything important to sports fans in Braves Country. The SEC, ACC, Big Ten, and the National Football League, and the big sports news of the day. That's Braves Country with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. Weekdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here on WQEE, The Key, 99.1 FM, and simulcasting on youtube.com/@Braves Country.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
good night,
there's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
That's the sound of NyQuil Severe hard at work. NyQuil Severe is the best sleep with a cold medicine. No tossing and turning, just rest and recovery. So you're ready to take on tomorrow. For powerful relief of your worst cold and flu symptoms, try NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, best sleep with a cold medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, Braves fans. Thank you for listening to Braves Country Baseball. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and we are here to bring you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves, bringing you spring training and 2 to 3 games a week all season long. Please like and subscribe today. Braves Country Baseball.
Winter is the perfect time to start planning for your healthy, pest-free spring lawn with True Green, America's #1 lawn care company. True Green's science-based approach and local expertise will help give your lawn the year-round care it needs to be thick and weed-free. Go to truegreen.com. Just call 866-946-5956 or go to truegreen.com today and get a lawn to be proud of.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rod Peterson here, host of The Rod Peterson Show, inviting you to join us daily for 2 hours of Atlanta's funnest sports talk right here on WQEE. I say fun because it is. You've never heard a show like it because we make the listeners a part of the show every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern. You'll hear plenty of the best sports talk, including the latest on the Falcons, the Braves, and more. And who knows, you might even hear you. That's the Rod Peterson Show, daily at noon, right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neill, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Fridays, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
Hey, sports fans. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. Drive time on WQEE. Braves Country is a Southern sports talk show with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. That's Braves Country with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. Weekdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here on WQEE 99.1 FM. You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Noonan, Georgia.
Armchair. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good afternoon, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Derek Carr broke his silence and bid a farewell to the team's fan base in a statement on social media Thursday. Quote, "It breaks my heart I didn't get an opportunity to say goodbye in person. We certainly have been on a roller coaster in our 9 years together. From the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful and appreciative for the years of support you gave to my family and me. We had our share of both heartbreaking moments and thrilling game-winning drives, and it always felt like you were there next to me. It's especially hard to say goodbye because I can honestly say that I gave you everything I had every single day, in season and in the off season. It certainly wasn't perfect, but I hope I was able to leave you with more than a few great memories as Raider fans." Carr, who signed a 5-year, $125 million contract extension with the Raiders in 2017, then a 3-year, $121 extension last spring, said in 2021 he would probably quit football if I had to play for somebody else. I'm a Raider for my entire life. In response to that, Carr wrote, "I meant that, but I never envisioned it ending this way." Derek Carr, whose contract guarantees him $40 million if he is still with Vegas or agrees to a trade before February 15th, could simply wait for the Raiders to release him and hit the open market. Trades cannot become official until March 15th. Chicago Bears hire Big Ten's Kevin Warren as president and CEO. Warren has been with the Big Ten since June 2019, but recently given a contract extension by the conference. Former Stanford head coach David Shaw interviewed Wednesday with the Denver Broncos regarding their vacant head coaching position. They will also interview the New Orleans Saints coach Sean Payton in Los Angeles and Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris. Broncos fired Nathaniel Hackett December 26th after one season, a 4-11 record over 15 games. The Mississippi State Bulldogs are set to hire Kevin Barbay as offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Barbay spent the 2022 season with the same role at Appalachian State after 3 years at Central Michigan. Texas native Barbay played quarterback for Grambling and led the team to the SWAC title in 2002. And Matt Rule announces 3 hires to complete his first Nebraska staff. Matt Rule signed an 8-year, $74 million contract with the Cornhuskers. He'll bring in Bob Wager as tight ends coach, Rob Voracek as linebackers coach, and Garrett McGuire as the receivers coach. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for Braves Country right here on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Noonan, Georgia, simulcasting on youtube.com at Braves Country.
Armchair.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
Why did you get so drunk?
You got drunk. I'm just really exhausted.
What's in that cup?
Armor Cokes.
Do you have any idea how important this is? We're trying to save the pump. Really? This is what you're doing? This is what you're doing?
Chief, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night. Try to take over the world.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Armchair.
YouTube Live.
Radio station.
The radio station you can call your own. Do you know what listeners like about our station?
I like everything. It's always on my radio. We never stop the music, except for now, when I talk.
You're listening to Braves Country with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. We're here live weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, and simulcasting on YouTube.com/@Braves Country. Your first choice for Southern sports. Good afternoon, Mr. Justin Waller.
Good afternoon. And I don't know much, but I know one thing. We're finally going to have some fairness in the NFL overtime. Here's to 6 overtime games this weekend. Way to finally get it right.
Hey, I'm Mac McGee. I don't know much, but I know one thing. When the police have to pull you off a plane, I'm not signing you to a big free agent deal. Yeah, we're talking about you, OBJ. The truth finally came out.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. He's the all-American man with a cool one in his head. Yeah, the armchair quarterback.
Yeah, howdy, hi, and how the hell are you? It's Thursday. That means Justin Waller's with us, and that also means we're essentially at NFL playoff weekend. How are you, my friend?
It's Friday Eve. I'm doing great. We're here. It's wild card weekend, and man, I'm excited about this new overtime rule. I know that's kind of a curveball. We didn't plan for it, but I had forgot that we get that this year, that both teams will get possession, and first team taking the score and getting a touchdown is not end of the world. So,
I had forgotten it too. I'll be honest with you, I forgot it. Someone tweeted about it this morning. I wish I could remember who it was. I'd give them credit, but it popped up, and I was like, oh, yeah. And then it just kind of escaped my head again until you said something today. So, yeah, that's good, I think.
You're going to defer now, right? Like, I think for the first time, we're going to see people defer in overtime because you're going to let your defense play ball and then go down and try and win it. So I think adds a lot of strategy to it.
The only thing I would say to push back on that is that there might be coaches that say, no, I want to put the pressure on you, right? I want to put the pressure on you because if you go out there and spit the bit and get a 3 and out, then all I need is me as a field goal. You know what it'll probably come down to, Justin, is what's the game flow like, right? What's the score right now? Is it 42-42? If so, I want the ball first. If it's 12-10, 12-12, I think I'm going to punt it to you because I've got a better chance of stopping you and getting maybe a 3 and out, and then you shorten the field.
I predict one coach makes a flawed error in this overtime debacle if we get to see multiples. I think it will be a hot topic when we turn around next weekend, when we talk next week.
I can guarantee you the first coach to do it that's going to screw up and not know what's going on is Brandon Staley of the Chargers. I don't know what he'll do, but he'll do it. He'll go out there and he'll be sitting there going, you know what? I'm going to go for it, thinking that he has. It'll be something to the effect of he'll go for it on 4th down and short on his side of the 25 and won't get it and goes, well, our defense wasn't stopping anyone and blah, 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 blah. He'll come up with some BS, but you'll know what's going on in his head. He'll think it's the old one.
And then Sean Payton will replace him.
I would say it's a Ron Rivera, but he didn't make the playoffs. So, but if Ron Rivera was in it, then if Ron Rivera was facing Brandon Staley, then I'd say it'd be a toss-up.
One of them would forget the rule exists. That would probably is a very plausible scenario that could happen between them two.
Yes, somebody in that Charger coaching room right now needs to raise their hand right now. And go, I'm not trying to tell you your job, but I just want to remind you this could be a thing. And I guarantee you, Brandon Staley go, what happened? Let's start off with some college football. So I kind of teased it yesterday about the national championship odds for next year. And what I thought would be fun today, spend a little bit of time on it, is if we take a look at this, and let me do this better. Let me do this the right way. There's 2 different ways you have to share this thing, and I always pick the wrong one. Here we go. So The odds for this, pretty interesting to me. So for those of y'all that are listening on radio, we'll go ahead and read it to you, but those obviously who are watching on Braves Country HD, you can kind of move along with us and read with us. But Georgia is a 3-1 favorite at this point. And I know there's a lot of Bulldog fans who are going to say, you darn tootin', et cetera, et cetera. But I'm going to push back on that. And I'll tell you why I'm going to push back on that from the betting perspective. If you are going to put, we'll say $1,000, right, on Georgia to win it, I think you can get better odds down the road than 3-1. It's never 3-1. It is the newness of the two national championships. It's the newness of beating down TCU. You know the best way to get your best bet if you want to hit the Georgia Bulldog 3-peat, let them lose a game sometime next year. And then push your chips in because they'll go 6-7-1 somewhere in that neighborhood. And then that, but even still, when the actual polls come out, Georgia's not going to be 3-1. They may be, but it's a terrible bet to hand someone $1,000, $100, whatever, and keep it for about 12 months.
It's interesting, the disparity between Ohio State and Georgia, plus 300 for Georgia and plus 600 for Ohio State. I know both rosters will have turnover and they will, as they do, just reload. It's not a rebuild. So why such a difference? That was a field goal game that Ohio State missed, wasn't it? Did I miss something? Or did Georgia move on because Ohio State missed a field goal?
What's that? Which one?
We came down to a missed field goal essentially in the Ohio State Georgia game, but
Ohio State missed a field goal at the gun.
Yeah. And that's a plus 600 difference, so it's doubled up. That's what I'm saying. To your odds, it's just that's a big difference considering. I mean, they're both going to reload.
We get that a lot in betting. Right? Everyone goes. No one thinks about it in January. They'll be thinking about it in September. How hard it is to repeat, much less 3-peat. Right? But yeah, Ohio State, Alabama. So Ohio State's plus 600, Alabama's plus 700, USC's plus 700. I can tell you this, I'd put it on Alabama before I put it on USC. There's no way I would hit USC at this point. I get it, they're getting Caleb Williams back, but just because the way the media goes, they'll find a way to put Alabama into the national championship playoffs. The news came out, was it yesterday morning, I think, that the national championship had some of the lowest ratings of all time, and it's the lowest of this era, right? And of course, you saw them continually go down. Well, the game was a blowout, so that didn't shock me at all. But what's going to happen is there's going to be pressure on the committee to put a close game in there. And so if you want to hedge your bet there, Alabama's going to be put in. I guarantee they're going to be put in. They're going to have to lose 3 games next year because of the bias that is Alabama. Now, what I thought would be fun, first of all, let's address Tennessee, 30-1 odds, right?
I like it.
Man,
that's the same thing for your boys. Them Seminoles are 3,000 as well, are they not?
Yeah, they're 25-1. I don't know why they're that low. They should. Let me put it this way: Tennessee should be over Florida State, because even though Florida State is returning a lot of guys, they play in the ACC. If they lose a game, they'll probably kick them out. Tennessee can lose a game and still get back in there. Tennessee may be able to lose 2 the way that TCU opened up the door for the Power Fives that's not named the Big 12. That's what happened. It will not shock me. I'll tell you who I wouldn't put money on. Who was it that had a pretty decent odds? Oklahoma, 30-1. I'm not taking any team in the Big 12 because there's going to be that bias in their head. You can't help it. It's human nature. I don't want to watch that again. In Oklahoma, every time you get in there, you get boat raced. But yeah, I
think for a value bet, my fandom could put a little cheddar on my Volunteers. But if I'm gonna make an ACC pick, I'm not walking away from Clemson at plus 1,500 in Florida State. You said it's 2,500 or 25 to 1 odds. So I
It
think your
comes
winner comes down to them two right there, and I might hedge a little there if I'm looking for a long-term play.
It's not a terrible idea if you're going to do something like this. And like I said, if you're going to get Georgia, you can wait on Georgia. 3 to 1 is not very good odds.
No.
But if you really just want to hedge your bets there, you could put this and realize you're putting the same amount on each. But let's just say you're going to lay 3 bets. I'd go Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama. There is a very good chance that one of those 3 teams is going to play for the national championship. And then once you have that ticket in your pocket going into the national title game, then you could possibly hedge the other way depending on who they're playing. I'm a little leery of Clemson because they seem like they're on the downswing, but that's still pretty good odds considering their history. Would you even fathom taking Texas at 20 to 1?
No.
They are always overrated. What is the deal with Texas?
Not taking a Big 12, not taking a Big 10 school.
LSU,
sorry, Ohio State and Michigan fans. Michigan's plus 1,000, and there's no interest there either.
Yeah. They'll find a way to spit the bet. Robert's asking, why is LSU so high? It's because they got the news that Jaden Daniels is coming back, and a lot of their guys are coming back. I'll tell you what, that's going to be a heavyweight showdown in week 1. This is kind of what I've been talking about that they need in college football, but they need it for like 15, 20 games. That kickoff game between Florida State and LSU in Orlando is going to feel like a bowl game. That takes place in Labor Day weekend. I think it's Sunday night again, too. And last year, everyone was like, oh, that's cute. These are 2 programs that used to be decent. Now it's most likely going to be a battle of top 10s.
It'd be nice if they could stack them matchups. I know that they like to have a big opening showcase, and maybe you can do that interconference and get some conference play to start up, and you put your big matchups. But I would like to see these tilts closer to the end of the game or end of the season, to where what does it matter in the first week? I mean, we've seen LSU and Florida last year have them and then bounce back, and then one did, one didn't. So they really don't mean anything, early losses in the season. I guess that's why they're putting them there. But as a fan, I want to see them when the game's on the line. Let's start having some knockout rounds. The last couple of weeks. I'm not saying mess with rivalry week. That needs to stay traditional. But why don't you shift those to the end of the game, end of the season? Just like to see that in the future. I know with college schedules, they're done years in advance, and that's something you would have to plan towards.
Well, you would just have to open up that weekend is what you'd have to do.
Yeah.
You'd have to say, just for argument's sake, we'll say Halloween weekend, right? Somewhere in that, wherever Halloween falls. The only pushback it's going to get on that is the Florida-Georgia game. But, heck, Florida-Georgia could stay where it is and let other teams go. I would like that idea either. I just want to do it at the very beginning of the season because more teams are likely to sign up big opponents. They don't feel like that they're going to lose out on anything, and it kind of gets you tuned up, and then you go into the season. And now when we were going to get 12 teams in the playoffs, you can get into the playoffs 2-3 losses easily in 2024. Give me one team on this list, Justin, that you're like, that's a good deal. I gotta look at this.
Everybody listening is going to say it's biased, but I'm taking my Volunteers. I think they control Milton's cannon, and I like some of they just picked up the wide receiver out of Oregon, transferring in. So they got some big playmakers. I think they build on that defense and get some depth, and I look for them to compete in the East again this year.
I'll give you 2.
I'm not opposed to your boys either. I really like what Norvell did this year, and I think he builds off it.
I'm going much farther down the list. I'm going to give you 2.
Tulane.
One team that I'll keep an eye on, but I'm not going to put them there today, would be Arkansas. But if you look down there at the 125 mark, 125 to 1, Oregon State and Florida. So Florida, they're going to have to do a little more in the transfer portal for me to believe in that. So I put that outside. But Oregon State's had a pretty good transfer portal. And for that matter, 150-1 is Kentucky, and they just got the quarterback from NC State. Because the one thing that I think these never take into consideration is the transfer portal. They're all looking at who's coming back, et cetera, et cetera. But what about that team that brings in a haul this spring? If you're quick enough to the betting window, you could have yourself a nice little ticket in your pocket. Just a thought. Down at the very bottom, I mean, if this is 2024, I'd take a swing at Tulane. But I'll tell you what, 2024, can we get futures odds on Dion, Colorado? 300-1 odds in 23. What's his odds for 24? I want to throw it on there because I used to say, "Oh, that's impossible." I don't count anything out.
I would like to see the odds of that, the futures for a conference championship, because that would be an interesting one that I think might have some favorable odds. I'd take a look at.
They came out with the Heisman odds, and Jordan Travis was not very good odds because I thought about laying something on. I was like, well, this is terrible. He's only like 10-1. He was like third or fourth on the list. I was like, that's basically saying he's a favorite. I'd rather go when I forget what his number was, but Milton was much farther down. I was like, man, I'd rather throw it in on Milton, because if Milton does hooker type things, he's going to be right there in that conversation. And from what I saw in that Orange Bowl, Milton pretty darn good.
A little bit of touch, and I think the young man will have it reined in. Still needs to get a little air underneath that ball, and but that cannon is legit.
Lamar Jackson says hogwash.
Yeah.
I'll throw it through the defender's shoulder pad.
Put it in your face mask. I'll make you catch it.
We got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to hit up a couple of fun topics on Belly Up to the Bar. You're not going to want to miss it.
Now, I'm not saying I've never driven drunk, because I've drank so much in my life. Now on the back of my driver's license, there's a list of organs I need.
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neill, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Fridays, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
How to improve your dining room by the Home Depot. New wood floors, new paint on the walls. Sure, you know us for that. But how about a new dining room table, matching chairs, bar stools? How about free and flexible delivery with easy online returns? Now you can explore decor in a whole new way. Save now on furniture. Everything for your home. Everything from HomeDepot.com. How doers get more done.
We live in a world now that welcomes and nurtures the screwball in all of us. Hey, it's a new decade, people. Time to get a little nutty. Treat yourself to Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, a smooth flavor that combines two of America's favorites, peanut butter and American whiskey. So no more social awkwardness. Time to embrace who you truly are. Get out there and make friends. And be sure it starts with Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. It's available nearly everywhere. Learn more at screwballwhiskey.com. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hey folks, this is Mark White with The Mark White Show, and you can tune into The Mark White Show every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. right here on Rock 99 WQEE The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Whatever We Have in Stock Are Us, your one-stop place to shop for whatever we happen to have lying around at the time.
You're listening to WQEE, home of Braves Country. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Key and YouTube.com at Braves Country.
Belly up to the bar, boys. Better loosen your belts. Only drink when you're all alone or with somebody else.
Hey, welcome back. Time to belly up to the bar.
Never whirl with a three-toed girl or a discontented horrible example.
Justin, you came up with this segment Was it the first year? I feel like it was the first year, wasn't it?
First or second. We've been doing it almost the whole time.
We're going into our 10th year of Armchair Quarterback Radio. Of course, now it's been rebranded as Braves Country because of all the play-by-play we do. But man, I for some reason I'm gonna have to go back and look. I think we did this probably not the first show, but it's got to be that first season. I feel like when we used to be on. I forget the name of that app that we all used to have to come in and dial into, and and everyone sounded like they were on a payphone. I ran into recording a few years back. I was like, man, and we thought that was crystal clear. I can't forget the name of it, but anyways, gonna belly up to the bar with some of these topics, and the first one that I thought we should hit up is Correa goes over to the Twins. And so instantly that changes the entire dynamics of the National League, the power shift. Because Correa, I'm not saying he was going to hit 40 bombs and 120 RBI and, win the batting title, but he's a solid offensive player and he's a heck of a glove. So you put that aside and you say he's not even going to be in the National League. He's going to be in the American League. He's going to be in the American League Central, by the way, which essentially tells me that, good night, Irene. We'll see you in 6 years. So I thought it'd be fun to rank them to see where we had everybody ranked in the National League top to bottom. We'll start at the bottom. Obviously, we now get. I think I told you top 6, but there's 7 teams that make the plus. I should have said top 7. So if you can adjust that on the fly, fair enough. If not, I get it. Who would be your last wild card team in right now?
I'll just for sake say Phillies.
No, I'm sorry. It is 6, isn't it? I'm thinking of the NFL.
Okay. I'm going to take Phillies.
Yeah, I'm having yeah, that's right, because both the Braves and the Dodgers had the bye last year. Okay, so it's 6. So you're going to say the Phillies?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I got NFL on my brain. I'm going to go with the San Diego Padres. I feel like that they will get back in. But they have so many question marks that I'm just not sure of what is going to be, I feel like San Diego is going to be good, but I don't know how good they're going to be, if that makes sense.
I've got them in, but I've got them a little higher. I've got faith. I think you get almost a full year of Tatis Jr. back, and you add some other pieces that they have back healthy. Do they compete for the title or the division? Probably not, but I think wild card's definitely in play. My next one I will take. Man, I'm tossing up in between these, but I like the aggressiveness of what they've done so far. I'm going to go Cubs. I'm in between Cubs Brewers, but I think I'll lean with the Cubs.
Okay, I'm going to go with numbers 5. I think I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I'm going to put the Cardinals in. I think they're going to win their division. I think that's the only team that wins a wild card or any kind of slot. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals at number 5. Who's your number 4 team?
Padres.
Okay. And mine will be the Dodgers. Because I'm telling you right now, I know the national media is gonna fan the flames of how good they are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm not convinced. I'm not, because it didn't feel like they did anything in the offseason, right? And it didn't feel like that they are going to do a whole lot. It kind of feels like to me with the Dodgers are laying in the weeds and waiting until next offseason to go all in on Shohei Ohtani.
It's a good possibility, but I still don't knock them out of contention yet. So are you saying the Padres win the division? Is that where you're going?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Are you going with the Padres as your division winner?
No, I'm going with the Dodgers, the division winner, because I've got the Padres coming in
Okay.
the wild card number 6.
Gotcha.
So right now I've got Padres. This is bottom up. So 6 is wild. The last wild card to go to the Padres. The division will go to the Cardinals. The division will go to the Dodgers. That's where I'm at. Who is your 3 through 1?
Number 3, these are my division winners. I got St. Louis at number 3. This will make you cringe. I got Atlanta number 2, and I'm putting the Dodgers number 1. I just think their division.
I think popular. I mean, to be honest with you,
I think the Padres will get it going, but I think it'll take after the Memorial Day break. I think they may already have a huge gap they have to overcome by then before they get some of their health back to that roster or suspensions in. So I don't know that they can maintain that out of the gate and keep pace with the Dodgers. That's why I think the Dodgers kind of pull away. And I think the Giants will be a nuisance. So I think they're going to end up stealing some wins and hurting both of them this season. But Dodgers, Braves, St. Louis, 1, 2, 3 in that order.
Okay, and so my 1, 2, 3 is going to be Braves, Phillies, and Mets. And I'm literally saying that the beasts are in the East. And I don't think Dodgers and Padres may even get more wins. But I'm not worried about them. I'm really not. For the first time in a long time, I'm not as concerned about the Dodgers. Well, you know what that means? They're going to go on and win the World Series. Their first World Series since 1988. I don't care what any Dodger fan says. That bubble ship back in 2020, it's a half a championship. That's a little more than what the Lakers won, and about the same what the Bucks won, but it's not a full championship. I might give the Bucks a tad. Well, I'll say the Bucks is a 3/4 of a championship because they did play on the road. They did have some fans in some stands. But the Dodgers got to play in bubbles. There was no fans leading up to the World Series for them. And then when they went to the World Series in Texas, what was it? It wasn't even half full. And no one was there from Florida rooting on the Rays because what are the chances? Everyone in that stadium was probably from Texas, I guess is what I'm getting at. Because there wasn't a lot of travel going on during the pandemic, right?
Right.
It was still fun. I'm glad they did it for the fans, don't get me wrong, but I can't count that as a championship. I give the Tampa Bay Lightning the most credit because then they came back and won the championship afterwards, right?
They backed it up.
Right. So it's more of, well, we were the best team then. It's not our fault. Now we're going to show you that we're the best team. I still think that series with the Braves and Dodgers goes to the Braves in 2020 if there's a home and home, especially with the conditions. If we're allowed to have fans in the stands and they're all sitting there quiet on the Western Front, we might even sweep them. Because remember, we were up 3-1 in that series. What about that? But as far as the NL goes, I think Braves, Phillies, Mets, Dodgers, and then I go St. Louis and San Diego. The biggest thing with San Diego, now that could flip because Justin, officially just minutes before we came on the air, your boy, Trevor Bauer, has officially been released. Now, whoever signs him in that 16 field becomes the favorite, in my opinion. John Heyman claims he does not think that the Mets or the Yankees will sign him. I don't know what makes him think that the New York Mets are all of a sudden going to start counting their dollars. And you're not having to pay much. I think they said $720 of the $22 million. So $720,000 of the $22 million is whatever team would have to pick up. I mean, someone's going to give him a shot. And if you're a smart general manager, you grab him even if you are the Reds, whoever, and you trade him at the deadline. You let him go back out there, show that he's still got his stuff. Why is he all of a sudden going to forget how to pitch? He didn't have Tommy John surgery. So anyways, that's going to be interesting to see where that goes. Road win in the NFL this weekend. Who has the best chance to pull off a road W, in your opinion?
This one's really tough, but I'm going to lean the Giants. I think that they just lost Christmas Eve, 24-27. It's hard to beat a team in the NFL twice. And here we go, the rematch on the road. So I like the Giants to pull it off. It's between that and the Cowboys, but I'm not doubting Tom in the playoffs at home. So I'm gonna stay with that the sideboard comes out in the postseason, and I'm not gonna bet against Tom Brady. And I think it's the Giants. I don't give anyone else really a chance. Chargers possibly, but I'm banking on the Jags. So I don't feel the Chargers come in and do it.
By the way, I do want to mention the fact that WQEE has taken us off the air momentarily. There's a tornado watch. Obviously, if you're in the listening area of WQEE, you can't hear me anyways. But for those that might be watching on YouTube, just wanted to make sure that if you're in the Atlanta area, that you're aware that there is a tornado watch, and you can turn over to WQEE for updates. So you're going with who? I'm sorry, I was getting a message during that.
I'm going with the Giants. They just recently played. It was a 3-point game, 24-27 on Christmas Eve, and I think that's hard to duplicate, especially in a short amount of time. So
that's who I liked. But since you took the Giants, I'll pick another team. Because I'm with you. I really think the Giants have a chance. I am a little concerned if they fall behind, can that team catch up with that high-powered offense, right? Not to mention, man, the Giants have said a couple of stupid things in the press this week that they tried to clean up, I think, yesterday in a press conference. One of the defensive backs for the Giants talked about how it's not going to be that difficult to slow down. He didn't say shut down, but to slow down Justin Jefferson. Then you can tell he had a talking to, because he came back and started talking about how good he was, and he makes incredible catches.
I think Joey Jackson's still out, so with having a hole in,
he's coming back this week.
He will be back this week. Okay,
which might actually hurt the Giants' chances. So if you're going to take the Giants on the road, it feels like the smart thing to say would be the Chargers. I still think Brandon Staley's going to do something stupid, and Jacksonville is going to march on. So I'll go with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I do believe that Tampa Bay is going to find a way to win that game. But if you're telling me I have to choose between the Chargers and the Cowboys, because I'm not taking Seattle going into San Fran. There's no way I'm taking the Tua-less Dolphins in Buffalo or the Lamar Jackson-less Baltimore Ravens going into Cincinnati. Those are off the table. There's really only 3 games in the NFL that I'm really excited to watch this weekend, and it's Jacksonville, San Diego, it's the Monday night game, Tampa Bay, Dallas, and it's the Giants, Minnesota. So at least there's one per day. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll have it on, but I'm not going, ooh, we gotta stop what we're doing. And I was talking about this earlier in the week. If you want some brownie points from the wife, you plan something to go out and do something early Sunday afternoon, right? And she goes, don't you want to get back for the game starts? Well, yeah, I'll catch her on the fourth quarter, because there's a good chance that game's a blowout. And if for some reason it's interesting, you'll be back like 3:45 Eastern, right? You know, get in about an hour before the Giants Minnesota game. And if it's interesting, then you tune in, but it's most likely going to be a dog stomp. I don't see how they're going to. How is Miami going to cross the 50-yard line with Skylar Thompson? They scored 9 points against the Jets.
Can't answer that one.
And real quick, because we got to head to break, best NFL head coaching job that is open right now. Which one are you going with?
I'm going to toss up in between two, but I'm going to lean with the Panthers, and it's just because of future cap space. The Texans have the draft capital, complete rebuild, have $47 million available next year, but the Panthers can make some moves and survive in 2023. But in 24, they got $80 million in free space. They got 125 in 2025, and that's without the league increase. So really interesting to see what they could do. They have a good core nucleus on defense, and I think they can build around it and get them somebody behind our note and work through your quarterback, get them a coach in there. Man, I would love to add insult to injury if they could pull Sean Payton in. That upset the NFC South.
Yeah, my thought is the Saints aren't going to trade him there, right? They're not going to trade him in division. It's just not going to happen. And if you do make the trade, you're going to have to pay through the nose.
Yep. I think his best landing spot's probably the Chargers. They would have the capital if something happens with Staley, and if they lose the Jaguars, I think that he will be gone. Yeah. And I think that's the natural. They have the draft capital. They have their future quarterback. They could offer up some picks.
Loaded.
To come in and offset with the Saints, allow them a rebuild, because they've had bad roster situations past few years and they were up against it. And now you can almost reset the clock if you could trade him away for some number ones and some depth later on in the draft sprinkled throughout the next couple seasons. I think the Chargers would be the ones that could do it if
it's available, but obviously it's not.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with look, Denver would be enticing because it's always been a franchise that's been solid. But the problem is, not only do you have terrible Russell Wilson there, you just gave up a lot of draft capital. So I hate that. So I'm going to go with what you originally said. Houston. It's Houston for me. The Colts would be interesting, but Irsay, man, I don't want any part of Irsay. If I'm a Sean Payton or what, I don't want any part of Irsay. Irsay will get a guy that's begging for a job, not a guy who can pick and choose. So I like Houston. Because Houston, now it would be a lot more entertaining if they had the number one pick, but they still got the top two. So you're either going to get Bryce Young or you're going to get CJ Stroud. And either way, I think it's a win. I think both those kids are going to be really good. This is going to be a really good quarterback class this year.
I agree.
And I think next year it's going to be like Caleb Williams. And then there's going to be some question marks, maybe a Joe Milton. Jordan Travis is going to be an NFL quarterback of any stature. He's a guy that you might draft to try to patch things together, kind of like a poor man's Marcus Mariota type thing, but he's not going to be anything to write home about. All right, let's take a really quick break. When we come back, we are going to talk up some more NFL and get into the playoffs. We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country HD.
Well, Mom, if you already knew, then why didn't you tell Dad? Then we wouldn't be in this mess.
Oh, my God. Rosemary had a better baby than me.
I might audible. If I audible, I'll use Omaha! Omaha! Red Polly! Blue poncho! Do it! Rambo! Give me Kershaw here, Kershaw!
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Chop, Japan! Richmond, New York! Richmond, Florida! Sally, Buffalo! Check! Hey, Short Ox! Luda Raiders! Red Lion! Omaha! Time out!
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neill, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
Armchair Quarterbacks Radio covers the whole SEC the whole season long.
Down. Here's Tua stepping back, loads up, looks long, throws, end zone, touchdown! Alabama! Devontae Smith, touchdown, Alabama! And the Crimson Tide has once again ascended to the top of the college football mountain. Again, it's going to be Crapel, wing, and the kicker, Drew Alamo. LSU remains undefeated. Passes away, penalty flag down. Lamar Thomas has got it. Lamar Thomas is on his way down the sideline. George Teague is after him and runs him down. Takes the ball away from him. Teague's got the ball. Well, congratulations to the LSU Tigers, the 2008 BCS National Champion.
Armchair.
SEC! SEC!
Make sure to listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Prime time, drive time. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Because he's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man.
Hey, this isn't my coffee. Where's my finely ground quinoa blend?
That's it. Daphne put an eggshell and some allspice in it.
Doesn't that just dress it up?
I like it. Gives it a zing. Now.
Let us get something clear. I am not a morning person. First, I have my coffee. Sans eggshells or anything else one tends to pick out of the garbage.
Welcome back. Trying to update on the Facebook page to get everyone in the know in that area to tune in WQEE Atlanta. There's a tornado warning in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and evidently there's already been damage to some buildings and whatnot. We'll try to keep you updated as that storm moves on. Looks like it's sweeping across and won't affect your area, Justin, but some dangerous weather that is on the horizon there. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the NFL playoff picture. Gonna get your predictions as we are going to be. So we're doing the kickoff show Saturday afternoon, 3 to 4:30 right here. And I'm going to wait to do my predictions then, but I do want to get yours and Joey's because y'all won't be able to make the show. So I do want to make sure that we get that. Where are you going with we'll start off with how about we'll just go in order of the weekend, right? And who do you have winning that first game?
I don't have the timed order, but hopefully it's Seahawks at Niners, and I've got the Niners.
Okay. And then Jags versus...
I'm rolling with the Jags.
You are? Okay. I didn't know if you'd still be a little peeved about, what went down.
It was still a Pat Ford pass, and I will argue with anybody the other day. It's a damn pass. I mean, how did it go 20 yards as a fumble? It would have fell straight to the ground. So Tom Brady, that would have been an incomplete. And anyway, for whatever it's worth, he got Todd Downing fired, and my life is complete now. So
right, that's a fumble, but what Brady did was a pass. Get out of here. Get out of here. That makes absolutely no sense. But anyways, we move on.
But hey, their offense moved the ball, and the defense played well, and they've got good momentum right now. So I wish the game was a little bit earlier with a West Coast team coming in. It would justify my theory a little bit more. But hey, I still ride with the Jags in the night game.
It still ended up the way that I wanted, which I said this last week. when it's all said and done, I'm a Titans fan before I'm a Jaguars fan, but I do live here. But it helped Tennessee out more to lose that game long term than it did to win that game. Probably lose to the Chargers. If somehow they got through the Chargers, they would get absolutely demolished by Kansas City. It's better off to let Jacksonville go have some fun, maybe get a playoff win, maybe get some experience. You never know, man. You catch lightning in a bottle with that talent that they have on that team, you never know. But let Tennessee grab the number 11 pick overall, and let's try to rebuild this thing. And let's, like you said, get rid of Downing.
Yeah. And where was the Davidson County court system when you needed it? I mean, couldn't they have expedited that charge and got him off the field the last couple of weeks? Maybe we'd have scored a few more points than 12. But anyway, it's over with now and on to the OC search. But I guess you got to find a general manager before you can really get your OC. There were some internal interviews today with Ryan Calden and Monty Osenfort. That's the VP and Director of Player Personnel currently with the rosters. Only 2 internals. And then the question is with GM, once they fill that spot, where they go OC-wise. And how much is Vrabel fighting for? That's the big underlying story as a Titans fan that I really want to know. Is player control on the table, and is he fighting for that? Is that an option? So be interesting to see how that unfolds.
Yeah, so then you go to Sunday. I'm going to assume that you've got the Buffalo Bills winning that game, and you've got Joe Burrow winning Sunday night.
I do.
So where are you going with Minnesota versus
I'm going to take the Giants.
Okay. And then what about the Monday night game?
The season's body of work tells me to go with the Cowboys, but the 0-7 record of the Cowboys against Tom Brady and Tom Brady's history in the playoffs says go with the Bucs. So I'm going to take the Bucs, especially as home dogs, and we'll talk about that in our pick 6.
Okay. So then we'll just kind of cut to the chase here because we don't have time to go through every single round. Who do you have in the conference championship game in the AFC and NFC?
Bills, Bengals in the AFC.
Okay. And who gets the W?
That's tough, but something just tells me, especially with everything going on with Hamlin and the way that team is gelled together, I'm going to lean Bills. I think you might see something special.
Wait a minute. Bills, Bengals will play each other next week unless there's a major upset.
Well, I screwed that up. I don't have the seedings. So, okay, then I'll replace the loser. The Bills will win it. I was going to pick them to win that matchup, so Bills, KC. That work for you?
And then you got the Bills winning?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So if all the top seeds win, which I know is a big if, it'll be Jacksonville going to Kansas City. Cincinnati will go to Buffalo. And then in the NFC, it would be Tampa Bay at Philly and the Vikings at San Francisco, is, assuming there's not an upset. Who do you have in the NFC?
Eagles and Niners.
Okay. And who wins that one?
I'm going to lean Eagles.
Okay. So Eagles, I'll tell you what, man, Eagles, Bills, would that not be a shootout? You know what, Eagles, anybody, wouldn't that be a shootout in the Super Bowl? Let's be honest. I know San Fran's got a good team, but let's be honest. It's going to be a lot more fun if the Eagles get there. Those offensive, man, I was in a fantasy draft last night for the playoffs, and I hedged my bet on that. One of the things that I did, because I got him later in the draft, is that Miles Sanders was sitting out there, and I'm like, if they make a run, and they should make a run, meaning they play at least 2 games, if not 3, Miles Sanders could be a big reason why the Eagles bring home another Super Bowl. Let's go ahead and get into our 6-pack of picks. And it's obvious with this few games, we're probably going to trip each other up. We're probably going to either go against each other or have the same pick, and that's fine at this point, because when you get to this part of the season, it's kind of impossible to go on a 6-pack as we go forward. So that's going to happen. What is your first pick?
Well, I've alluded to it. I'll take Bucks plus 2.5 at home.
Okay. And I concur. I also have that pick. So I just feel like, first of all, I feel like that game's coming down to the wire. Dallas has not been playing that great, although they have a much better team. And if I can have the points in my pocket and the team at home, and something about TB12 in the playoffs, I don't care what city he's playing in, I've got to lean with them. What is your next one?
I'll take Giants with the road win plus 3.
Ditto. Okay.
I think we're going to be ditto across the board. How about I just take money lines and you take the points? Because I think they both. I'll give you the Jaguars. I'll take the money line on the Jaguars. You can have the points if you want them.
All right. Jags, by the way, was up to 2.5 this morning on some books, and some of us may have grabbed it. I think it's back down to 1.5 now, but I don't know why it's swinging so far into San Diego's way. Unless it's just there's got to be a ton of money going in on that. I don't think Mike Williams is going to play. They went out there and ran him out there last week, and he got hurt, and the rest is history. So, and not by any stretch of the imagination is this going to be an easy win for the Jags. I mean, Mike Williams is just the beginning of your headaches when it comes to the San Diego offense. But when you're missing Mike Williams, it's going to handicap what you can do across the board. And now it's going to have to it falls all on Eckler and Allen, obviously. And the Jags, man, they just seem like things are happening for them, right? It seems like there's just things going their way. Like the goofy interception with the Cowboys comeback. You know, the ball that skipped through the hands in Nashville that should have been at least knocked down, if not picked off. It just seems like, I'm not saying it's kismet and it's their year and they're going to do something like win a Super Bowl, but stranger things have happened. And this is a team, they're definitely one of the most talented rosters that have made the playoffs, but they're so green. You know, we all just assume that it's too early, but they may be so young they don't know any better. Just going to fall backwards into a championship. I do think they're going to get roasted in Kansas City, but then again, when they played Kansas City earlier in the year, it really wasn't that bad of a loss. It was pretty competitive.
And everybody tightens up a little bit, and it brings the competition a lot closer in playoff games. I mean, you can go for your home runs, but they're sizable and they glare when you miss them. So usually offenses kind of tailor it back a little bit. I know that's not the normal status quo of the Chiefs, but even them, they do get a little predictable and they tighten up a little. It's usually the scrambling of what produces the offense in the postseason for the Chiefs or the Bills or anybody with the mobile quarterback. They're making plays happen with the extension of it. And we all look back to some of these games and we're like, man, that came down to one play, the 3rd and 15, and so-and-so went shortstop on us and sidearmed it 25 yards. You know, it's just a tight game and they make plays. So I think they'll tighten up and they'll have a chance if they get to it.
Derek Carr going to head to Nashville?
I don't think so, but I wouldn't put it off the table. I don't know that Mike Vrabel isn't sold that a healthy Tannehill can't get him through until the quarterback and they draft somebody late in this draft. And that's why I wonder about player control, because I don't think he's like the outcome of his draft. And I think that's glaring the rift that Robinson and Vrabel had with some of their picks. So
I was thinking kind of outside the bun on this one today, and I was thinking, so if he just gets released and doesn't get traded, right? Because if he gets traded, it's $40 million. But if he gets released, started from scratch, and to cut Tannehill, it's going to cost you 15. Start right. I think it's 14.5, right? What if you go to Derek Carr and say, "Look, man, the first year we're only going to be able to pay you 15. but we're going to give you more guaranteed money. We're going to bring you in here for, we'll say, a 3 or 4 year deal. I'm really more after the Tannehill experience. I'd much rather have 3 year. But would that itch where you're scratching?
No, I don't think it does. I think there's enough gems in this draft class that if you're strategic, I think they ought to be able to get one. And I'm not completely giving up on Willis. It was not a good experience. He's not ready for the NFL yet. But that's not to say year 2 he can't develop or turn into that. Show some progression, and we go through the battle through this last year at Tannehill, and maybe you do have your quarterback. It'll be interesting.
What is your walk-off, sir?
Did you ever had a rib cramp while doing a radio show? That is really really hard to do, and I'm very proud of myself for making it through. I need some water and hydration.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of those types of things. But usually when I get rib cramps, it's because I've eaten too many ribs.
Oh man, no, I'm ready to stretch now. So that's my walk-off. That hurt.
I'll tell you what's a fun thing is when I was doing the 4-hour morning show, and I was flying solo for like hours by myself sometimes, and you go in with a fever, and you're just you're seeing stars and everything, man. But it's like my old Mr. Ospravnik, our professor back in college, taught us. He's like, the show must go on, and that means your ass needs to be in the seat, and the mic needs to be hot. So
I guess I got a better walk-off. And I mean, since Jeff Saturday wasn't strange to anybody in the NFL, I guess we can introduce Joey as the new head coach of the Indianapolis Colts coming up next.
Well, since we got kicked from WQEE, I don't necessarily have to go to the break right away because they've got a tornado update for folks that are just joining us. So I am going to put the link down in the comments as well, but I did put it up on the actual all of our social media networks to make sure that listeners knew where to go for updates. But anyways, there it goes. Joey, would you take that job and work for your boy, or would you pass and hold out for a better job?
Like taking the head coaching job or working with Jeff Saturday?
Pause tells me everything.
The pause says it all. He doesn't believe in his Colts.
Honestly, I mean, I don't think Jeff Saturday will end up being the coach. All I see today, though, is you guys were talking Derek Carr. Every Colts fan's freaking out that he's going to be the next trade we make now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, as I know Titans are going to be kind of in a similar boat if they want to be. So QB movement is always exciting, no matter what year it is. Now I feel like quarterbacks are just always on the move.
All right, Justin, I know you got to run. We'll go ahead and reset. We'll be back in a flash here. Talk a little, talk a lot of football and get some other things in here. We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country HD. Keep it locked in to CBS Sports Radio. And not today, WQEE, but the other affiliates will be back in a flash.
Armchair. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good afternoon, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Derek Carr broke his silence and bid a farewell to the team's fan base in a statement on social media Thursday. Quote, "It breaks my heart I didn't get an opportunity to say goodbye in person. We certainly have been on a roller coaster in our 9 years together. From the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful and appreciative for the years of support you gave to my family and me. We had our share of both heartbreaking moments and thrilling game-winning drives, and it always felt like you were there next to me. It's especially hard to say goodbye because I can honestly say that I gave you everything I had every single day, in season and in the off season. It certainly wasn't perfect, but I hope I was able to leave you with more than a few great memories as Raider fans." Carr, who signed a 5-year, $125 million contract extension with the Raiders in 2017, then a 3-year, $121 extension last spring, said in 2021, he would probably quit football if I had to play for somebody else. I'm a Raider for my entire life. In response to that, CARR wrote, I meant that, but I never envisioned it ending this way. Derek Carr, whose contract guarantees him $40 million if he is still with Vegas or agrees to a trade before February 15th, could simply wait for the Raiders to release him and hit the open market. Trades cannot become official until March 15th. Chicago Bears hire Big Ten's Kevin Warren as president and CEO. Warren has been with the Big Ten since June 2019, but recently given a contract extension by the conference. Former Stanford head coach David Shaw interviewed Wednesday with the Denver Broncos regarding their vacant head coaching position. They will also interview the New Orleans Saints coach Sean Payton in Los Angeles and Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris. Broncos fired Nathaniel Hackett December 26th after one season, a 4-11 record over 15 games. The Mississippi State Bulldogs are set to hire Kevin Barbay as offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Barbay spent the 2022 season with the same role at Appalachian State after 3 years at Central Michigan. The Texas native Barbay played quarterback for Grambling and led the team to the SWAC title in 2002. And Matt Rule announces 3 hires to complete his first Nebraska staff. Matt Rule signed an 8-year, $74 million contract with the Cornhuskers. He'll bring in Bob Wager as tight ends coach, Rob Voracek as linebackers coach, and Garrett McGuire as the receivers coach. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for Braves Country right here on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Noonan, Georgia, simulcasting on youtube.com at Braves Country.
Shenyang, a performance that truly matters to every one of us, is coming to the Columbus River Center for the Performing Arts, January 17th, one night only. Shenyang brings 5,000 years of civilization live on stage through choreographed dance, music combining Western and Chinese instruments in an animated backdrop. Come and see it at least once in your lifetime. Tickets at shenyang.com/GA.
Dixie Handle Company, 5 generations of the Strickland family have produced quality hardwood farm and garden tools, wooden shutters, and custom furniture. This small business has been owned and operated since 1992 and ships to customers across the world. If you're looking for the highest quality tool handles, Dixie Handle Company is your place. Every item is hand-picked to your specifications. If it's made of wood, they do it. Call now, 931-722-3395. That's 931-722-3395. Or go online to dixiehandle.com. The Dixie Handle Company. Welcome to Craftsmanship, a proud sponsor of Braves Country Baseball. Welcome back. Didn't want to play any music because I do want to give you a quick update of some stuff that we're seeing on the storms. We are back on WQEE, but I do want to give a quick update. So evidently LaGrange has seen some tornado action. Also, I just saw a video that is trending on Twitter, and it is a tornado that they said has been on the ground in Atlanta for about 30 minutes, which is unbelievable. And the video that I'm seeing is just north of the Atlanta International Airport. So evidently in the listening area of WQEE, it is now thunderstorms, but please be safe because you never know what may have happened in its path. And we wish everyone the best, and hopefully everyone stays inside and stays covered because they are not to be played with. How are you doing, Joey?
Doing pretty good. Man, we're just one day closer. I can't believe we're into the postseason of the NFL. It's been a crazy week. We got a lot of good games this weekend. I'm looking forward to watching a lot of NFL action this weekend.
Yeah, we're just a couple of days away from that. And there's a lot of excitement in the sports world, so we're going to try to focus on that. But we do hope the best for everyone in the listening area of WQEE, and of course everyone beyond, as that storm continues to go. It looks like it's heading northwest from what I saw on the radar, but I'm not a meteorologist, so I can't swear by that. But there's a breaking news of tornado of the Atlanta airport, and they said it was there's a warning now in that area till 4:15, so another 5 minutes. But there is pictures of it and video of that tornado hitting, and I've been through a few of those, and it's no fun. It is the scares are no fun, and then of course if you actually get in its path, it's absolutely terrible.
Yeah, everyone be safe out there, and a crazy time. But we talked about this 2 days ago, Mac. I want to bring it up to you real quick because I hope people listen to us here. On Tuesday, you specifically said that Buffalo, if you like them, they're -7 right now. Get it while you can because of the quarterback news. I'm looking right now; it's up to 13 right now. Man, that would have been a great buy on Tuesday.
Yeah, it ballooned. I want to say right before we went on the show yesterday. I can't remember when it was, but it ballooned 5 points yesterday. It could be because it had gone to 8 since we had talked, and then on Wednesday, sometime during Wednesday, ballooned up to 13. Is it? You're saying it's still 13?
I see it at 13 as well. Yes.
Yeah, that's. And I honestly think I was mentioning this yesterday. I think it's going to go 14 beyond. Now you might see some push down. You might see it come down a little because sometimes these sharps will go out there and they will kind of correct the line for a minute because they think because of their numbers and what they're looking at, the Miami can stay within 13. I
literally just refreshed my Bet US page, and now Buffalo Bills are -14 as I just refreshed.
Wow. Wow. So 1 point in the, what would you say, in the last 5 to 10 minutes?
Literally refreshed like 5 minutes ago.
Some cash came in on that, baby. You can best believe. Now I just refreshed it over on the other page because I'm always bouncing back and forth to see the difference. And Caesars, I think is what this is, still has it at 13. But if they moved there, wow, that is something.
That is, I can't believe we were mid-talk on it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And it doesn't shock me. I think eventually it's going to settle in around 2 touchdowns. Now, if you really like Buffalo at this point and you missed out on the big train, you might want to wait to see if it'll creep down a little bit and then hit it. Sunday morning, that thing is going to be all in. So it's either going to go up or it's going to go down because everyone chases. So you're going to have 2 NFL playoff games on Saturday, and somebody is going to be up, and then more importantly, someone's going to be down, and they're going to be like, I got to make it back. But then there's also the guy who goes, I just won a bunch. Let me roll. Let's go. This has never changed in all the years that I've done sports talk and all the years that I've done sports betting. It has never changed. It's a roller coaster, and it's kind of like the stock market. You kind of jump in there when you think you got it, and then you bail out. And Honest Engine, I think it's more reliable than the stock market, right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
55% of the time usually wins 55% of the time. The guy that usually loses his butt, and needs to quit gambling. But you never know what you're going to wake up to on the stock market, especially nowadays.
Ugh.
I cringe every time. I no longer go to my stock market app that I use. I now just Google what my stocks are, so I don't see the totality of the destruction that is the stock market right now.
Too much red.
Brutal. I saw a thing today where they're the price of eggs are continuing to go up. So just so you know, to update for folks, our annual Easter egg hunt will be done with potatoes. We're going to color potatoes as opposed to eggs, and we're going to go ahead and apologize for the spores in advance.
My bad.
Because I'm buying those suckers rotten. Oh man, I mean, it is absurd. They're saying so it's not only just all the stuff with the economy that's causing the eggs to go through the roof, but it's also got something to do with the actual containers themselves. And then there's also there's some kind of a bird flu that's out there now.
Oh,
and I'm like, that's what we need. That's what we need. Next thing you're going to be jabbing me in the arm over the bird flu. I just got my flu shot a couple of days ago. And I woke up this morning and said, why is my arm sore? And I totally forgotten that I'd gotten that. The last time I did it, I didn't have much soreness. This time was a little bit. And I'm like, I might actually get some symptoms. Because last year, I did the flu shot for the first time last year, no symptoms. This year, as he's jamming it in my arm, he goes, well, you just realize the strain's different every year, so you know, you could get sick. I'm like, well, that would have been important information to give me before the needle goes in. Anyways, you know, the good news is that as you get older, you don't worry about long-term effects. Like, how you going to get me on a long-term effect? I ain't going to be here in 50 years.
I need to worry about the next year.
If I'm here in 50 years, I won.
Amen.
And I'll still probably be gambling on the NFL. The other one that I can't believe keeps going towards, and again, it goes back and forth, but Jaguars, we were talking about this last hour, Jaguars underdogs at home. I don't get it. I feel like they're pretty evenly matched teams. And at one point, Jacksonville was getting 2.5 points this morning.
Yeah, to me, it's simple. I mean, if they're two evenly matched teams, like we both agree and think they are, the home team usually gets the 3 point. I wouldn't mind if, you know, Jacksonville was even just a little bit ahead at a couple of points, but to be getting it.
Yeah, what they're saying right now is that the Chargers on a neutral site are a 4.5 point favorite.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that at all. I'm not saying they can't win by 4.5 because it's just one score in the NFL. But really?
And they got to travel a long way.
They do, and it's going to be cold. The high on Saturday here in Jacksonville is 53 degrees. It's supposed to get down into the 40s, low 40s by kickoff. So, and not that Jacksonville's used to it, but those California kids aren't going to be used to it either.
Yeah, and I mean, Chargers obviously now being in, you know, the nice sun all those years, now the dome, they're not going to be ready exactly for the cold weather. And they rely a lot more on the passing game than people would think just because they have Eckler. So I look for Jacksonville to come out strong. My mind's thinking that direction.
Real quick on your playoff bracket. So we won't have time to go round by round by round, but do you have any upsets this weekend? Any road teams winning?
Actually, it's funny you say that because I have no road teams winning. Next round, I got an upset, but not this one.
Okay, so you essentially have straight chalk.
Yep.
And then in the AFC Championship game, who do you have?
In the AFC Championship game, I have straight chalk with KC and Buffalo.
Okay, which will be at a neutral site. We don't know where it is, but it'll be in a neutral site.
I think they said today at the Georgia Dome, Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, I missed that. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Oh, yeah, right by. Yeah, boom.
Yeah,
right.
that would be great.
Bam, bam.
Folks go out there and watch it. That would be great. I thought they would. I kind of agree with an argument earlier in the week that it needed to be in a cold weather atmosphere because Buffalo's a cold weather team. Kansas City's kind of a cold weather. You know where I thought they would land, and it's essentially the same distance as Atlanta would be from those teams. Is I thought they would put it in Nashville.
Makes sense to me.
Nashville's not doing anything with that stadium, as far as I know, and it's a great place to go as well, and it's outdoors. Atlanta's a great choice. I'm just a little surprised they're going to pick a dome, but I guess that didn't go into their thinking. So heck, that's great for Atlanta. NFC Championship game is who?
This one is where I have a little bit of a surprise. Even though I have San Fran winning, I have Tampa Bay and San Francisco, and I have Tampa beating Philly. So Tampa at San Francisco is my NFC Championship.
Tampa Bay in the NFC Championship. Who filled this out? Your brother?
Hey, that's as far as I got. I swear.
That's as far as you got, and then you put the whiskey down. You woke up this morning and go, whoa. All right. So who is in the Super Bowl and who wins it?
I have Buffalo beating San Francisco in the Super Bowl.
I almost had that the Boomer Bowl, the Chris Berman Bowl. For folks who don't remember, when he was on ESPN all the time, every single year he picked the Buffalo Bills to play the San Francisco 49ers. Because those were his two childhood teams, and every year, didn't matter. Now, there was a time period there where it was actually realistic, but he always did it. So the Boomer Bowl, of course, it's hard for me to say Boomer now without not thinking of Boomer Esiason, but
back, gone.
Yeah, Chris Berman was the original Boomer. And of course, now everyone uses a derogatory term, but those people are idiots. Okay, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll update you on any kind of news that may be breaking here in the weather. Give me a chance to look that up, and then also we are going to talk a little college football and what's a good bet for the Natty in 2023. We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country HD, wherever you stream, and WQEE.
Look, I got some bad news. I guess there isn't a good way to tell you something like this. Your god-uncle died. My god-uncle? There's no such thing as a god-uncle. Yes, there is. It's your godfather's brother. You remember your god-uncle, Charlie. Oh. Yeah, as much as I'd like to pay my respects, catch up with my god-cousins, and meet the god-neighbors, I have some urgent business that just can't wait until later.
All right, here's your popcorn and the remote. There, enjoy your show.
Hey folks, this is Mark White with The Mark White Show, and you can tune into The Mark White Show every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. right here on Rock 99 WQEE The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk.
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neill, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Fridays, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE. Shenyang, a performance that truly matters to every one of us, is coming to the Columbus River Center for the Performing Arts, January 17th, one night only. Shenyang brings 5,000 years of civilization live on stage through choreographed dance, music combining Western and Chinese instruments in an animated backdrop. Come and see it at least once in your lifetime. Tickets at shenyang.com/GA.
Bo Body. What does the first B stand for?
What are we doing?
We're making acronyms. Okay, what does the first B stand for?
Business.
I like it. Business. Good, Kevin. All right, the O.
We need a new manager.
Welcome back. We are monitoring that storm that's in the Atlanta area, and looks like there's a tornado warning, including Warrenton, Georgia, Norwood, Georgia, and Kmark until 4:45 Eastern is the latest update that I have gotten here. So we'll continue to pass anything along to you that we find, and if you do want to call in and give an update, the number to call here is 678 960 9700. That's 678 960 9700. We'll try to continue to move along here on this Thursday afternoon. Hopefully everyone is staying safe and everybody is staying out of harm's way and getting ready for a big football weekend. Before we hit the football, the NFL picks and everything, we did this in the first hour, and I thought this would be kind of fun to do today. And I think it was right, because you start thinking about what are the chances of hitting it big on a college football national championship pick. And you're looking at this right now on the screen if you're watching us on Braves Country HD, wherever you are streaming at. I did that again. Let me reset it again. I do that every single time. They've got 3 different things that you can hit to share a screen, and I always pick the wrong one. All right, that one's the more condensed one, I believe. Yes. Okay, there you go. All right, so once again, the number to call here is 678-960-9700. You want to give us a Storm update, or if you just want to talk some sports. Joey and I taking you away to the top of the hour. So, Joey, I was talking about this earlier. Georgia's a plus 300. It's not that I don't think Georgia can go out there and win another national title, because my word, they not only are they talented, and I know they're losing some players, but at this point they're just reloading. But it also seems like to me that Kirby Smart is doing a very good job of keeping everybody motivated, keeping them hungry, right? And not falling into the pattern that a lot of teams do this, let's be honest.
Yep.
Of it's easy to get complacent after a championship. And I think we saw that in the Missouri game this year where they struggled a bit. And I don't think that's what happened at Ohio State. I think Ohio State genuinely had a good team and had a good game plan, and they missed a kick. And Ohio State's got to be kicking themselves literally because they missed that field goal at the gun, and then they saw what Georgia did to TCU. If you watch that game, what you felt like there is that TCU had maybe one guy on the field that could start for the Georgia Bulldogs, and that might be pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we're going to get another TCU next year, because you're going to have a 14 playoff, and I don't think the committee's going to allow it, which is why I'm glad they're going to 12.
Amen to that.
Because there was a couple things that went down with TCU. First of all, they got all the breaks in the Michigan game. But then the other thing is, man, you name it, it went wrong against Georgia. That Georgia, they had to win the turnover battle. I talked about it that day. They didn't do that. They had to tackle in space. They didn't do that. And I felt like not only were they outmatched, but the lights were too big, too bright. So looking at these lines here, to me, I don't bet Georgia. I'm not doing it here in January because I'm only getting a 3-1 payback, which means you're going to hold my money for 12 months. The Ohio State bet, I'm probably not taking that. But if you wanted to take Ohio State and Alabama, let's say you put 100 each on that, they're plus 600 and plus 700, and you're kind of hedging the bet that one of them might have a good chance of winning the national title, that Georgia won't win it, right? And if you put 100 on both of them, one of them cashes in, you made money. To me, college football championships right now, because only 4 get in, it's so much easier to handicap on who's going to be in the playoffs. Almost every year, Ohio State and Alabama and now Georgia, at least 2 of those are going to find their way into the playoffs.
Yep, and that's why, to me, you kind of got to massage around and see where you could get other conferences and other things involved. And actually, 2 of our favorite teams being mine, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and yours with Florida State, I believe there's a path there still with the 14 playoff where if both teams really play good football at plus 2,000 and plus 2,500, I wouldn't mind throwing a 50 smacker on each of those and seeing what happens, because it's pretty good odds for teams that have a better path than the SEC.
Right. And see, those I don't hate doing because you're getting much better odds now before the polls come out.
Yep.
Which is key. When the polls come out and Florida State's in the top 10, I don't think you're going to get 25-1 odds. I really don't. When the polls come out and Tennessee's in the top 10, they could be top 15, but I'd put Tennessee top 10. I don't think you're going to get 30-1 odds. I'm not laying it on Penn State because they always find a way to spit the bit. I'm not done.
No, in the Big Ten, they'll be up there, but they won't win the Big Ten. They'll do
You got to
something.
get through Ohio State and Michigan, and something's going to go wrong. And then Tones will be on here calling for a new coach. I can already see. I don't need to be a prognosticator to already see the future of 2023.
I'm with you.
I'm not putting it on Washington. 30-1's not good enough. Not going to do it. Oklahoma, no, thank you. Nothing in the Big 12. Not after what I just saw. Ole Miss is interesting at 50-1, but I still don't think that they can find their way in.
What about Drake May in North Carolina at 80-1?
And it does look like he's staying now. That would be my biggest concern because there's so many rumors of him hitting the transfer portal.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
And I think that's why they're 80-1 as well. Not that they would have been big favorites, but you worry about him. He says he's staying. But man, we gotta be in the middle of July for me to believe it. Right?
True. But hey, if you do like him, it's your time now, like you said, because it will go right up. So not a bad time.
We talked about this on the first hour, but Arkansas to me is interesting, but I want to see what they do in the transfer portal. Kansas State is interesting, but still, man, the Big 12 thing, I don't know. I got a feeling they're going to push them out this year. I think you're going to get a team from the ACC. You're going to get one from the Big 10, one from the SEC, and that fourth team may be an SEC team or it may be a Pac-12 team. And if I'm going to lay some hay on a Pac-12 team because they've been so aggressive in the portal, I'm very interested in the Oregon State ticket at 125-1. I'm telling you, is it look, it's January 12th, 4:32 p.m. Eastern time. Is it insane to put Colorado? Deion Sanders somehow has worked miracles. What if he really has changed that roster that much?
Well, and I put it this way, too. If you're going to look at the teams around them, Kansas, Wake Forest, Nebraska, Tech, Colorado, everyone loves Deion. I mean, I'm not saying that plays any factor, but it kind of does.
It'll also play into him getting the benefit of the doubt from the playoff committee, right? So if they're sitting there with one loss and they won the Pac-12 and people are like, well, you got to put this other team in because, they've got a better resume. Deion's very charismatic. He might find his way in there. Now, I would be shocked if he did. And a little bit of me would be jealous if he did. But I wouldn't be so mad if I'm sitting there with a ticket in my pocket of 300-1 odds to win the Natty. What if these kids he's bringing, these 4- and 5-star kids from Jackson State, really are that good?
Why not?
I mean, dude, I'm talking about laying 5 bones on it.
Yeah, we're not talking about your life savings, people.
I'm not saying go bananas and put your mortgage on it. Don't have a reason for your wife to to question why you cleaned out your bank account. 300-1 again. Nebraska. Lay a buck on that. Why not? Nebraska. Matt Rule, let's go.
With the transfer portal, why not?
I don't see any others that really jump out at me that I think could make a real run at the very bottom. You do wonder what Beamer's doing at South Carolina. They're at 200-1. Kentucky, I mentioned this earlier. They're 150-1, and they are getting Leary, the quarterback from NC State. I can't believe Florida's 125-1. That tells how the mighty have fallen. I mean, they're down there with the Hurricanes. They're down there. Miami is down there with Iowa, who can't cross midfield.
I was going to say they're not getting out of the Big Ten.
Who had a few years ago Central Florida and Florida and the Florida Gators having the exact same national championship odds? What?
And like honestly, at that point, you might as well put a couple bucks on UCF because at least they're not in the SEC like Florida is.
Another interesting one there on the Auburn getting their new coaching staff.
I like that.
I know a lot of folks don't like him, but he has been successful. And now everything that he was doing is essentially legal now. I'm not touching this guy. Texas A&M Jimbo Fisher 50-1. That sounds about right to me. Actually, his odds on and I'd be further down the list.
If I had to bet a team at the top, I'd probably lay a little bit on USC just because obviously with Caleb Williams having another year, you got to imagine they're going to be better than they were. So if I had to pick a team near the top, I'd probably go towards USC.
I almost want to lean and say Clemson because they get Florida State at home this year, and that's going to that game. The difference between this year and previous years in the ACC, for folks who aren't familiar with this, the ACC no longer has divisions. So Florida State and Clemson could meet on the regular season field and then again turn around and meet in the championship. They've gone the way of the Big 12. They're probably going the way of the Pac 8 because they're probably about to get extinct.
You're gone.
Hey, any of y'all remember the Metro Conference? No, we don't. Move on. And once again, Texas is always overrated. I don't get it.
I can't pick. Yeah, until they prove otherwise, I need to see it.
They'll always play like a close game and like, see, they're turning it around. But no. You're Texas football 8-4 and playing and getting what do they call them? Moral victories. That's not Texas football.
Man, how the standard has fallen.
That's Texas Christian football is what it is. I'm going to be honest with you. TCU used to do that.
The mighty have fallen.
Oof. How much pressure is on Texas now that TCU made it to the national championship game?
It's got to be beyond astronomical. I mean, come on.
It's going to be an unbelievable arms race in that area, in the oil area with the NIL deals.
I didn't even think about that. That is going to be a huge factor.
That's why I've said from the jump, when all this dust eventually settles, there's going to be a lot of teams down here in the Southeast we're just not going to be able to compete unless they get a hold of this and get some rules on it. Even the Alabamas, because if you get the Texas oil money go all in, you get the California money to go all in. How are you going to be able to compete with that?
Yeah, they'll have to change things up.
I'm talking about long term.
They'll definitely have to change things up.
They're going to have to. Next thing you know, NYU is going to be a college football powerhouse because of everyone living in New York City. They'll just go out there and get a collection hat out there. Columbia football, we're back, baby, we're back.
Bam, bam.
I think if there's one at the top that I would pick, because I've already picked someone at the bottom. The one at the top I would pick, obviously the obvious of Georgia and Ohio State and Alabama, because you feel like they're going to be in there, would be. I'm not going to go Clemson because can Clemson make that run? I don't know. But LSU has a chance. They're bringing a lot of guys back to get to play Florida State at the beginning of the year. So if they get that W, they get that springboard.
I'll agree. I just don't like.
For me, man, it's the Tennessee Volunteers. It is the Tennessee Volunteers. They're getting 30-1 odds. They looked like a team heading to the playoffs, and then they had that weird night against South Carolina, and Hooker got injured, et cetera, et cetera.
Really, though, if you look at it from, Texas through Penn State, Texas, LSU, Notre Dame, Florida State, Tennessee, Penn State. The reason I like Florida State a lot, and I'm not trying to toot your horn because you'll come at my Colts all the time. You know that. I just love they have a potential Heisman candidate. I just think that is huge, obviously, and I think that Florida State at 25-1 is my play if I had to pick one around that range.
It's interesting, but if I'm going Florida State, I'm going Tennessee as well.
That's fine
because and then the other team that's interesting because he declared he's coming back. He got injured in the Rose Bowl, and that team was so much different when he got injured. Cam Rising's coming back for the Utah Utes, and I think that Utah team is dangerous next year.
I like that play.
50-1. And I'm talking about when you do this, you grab 5-10 teams and do this, you lay the same amount of money for all of them. Don't go nutso and put 100 on one and $2 on the other, because that's not how you make out. You make out by putting the same exact money on all of them. If it's going to be $5 on all, then it's $5 on all. Fair enough. If it's going to be 100, it's going to be, but you don't, because then you're skewing your odds.
Don't put your life savings, people. Just remember.
I know this area here gets no love from me. Texas, Wisconsin, and TCU, they're all sitting right in the same area. Yeah. I just saw.
You read my mind. Wisconsin would be my worst play. Do not touch that one.
And Oklahoma State just lost Derek Mason, defensive coordinator. He's stepping down, but Oklahoma State's a disaster. Oregon State, I said it earlier, Oregon State is an interesting 125-1 play for me because they have dominated in the transfer portal, and that kind of goes under the radar. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to be hitting up the stupid underdogs, the locks, a lot more. We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country HD. Braves Country, weekdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, 99.1 FM The Key, your first choice for Southern sports talk.
Max, a woman in my section wants to know if we do anything gluten-free. What do I tell her?
Tell her she's not allergic to gluten. She's just masking an eating disorder.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey, Braves fans. Thank you for listening to Braves Country Baseball. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and we are here to bring you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves, bringing you spring training and 2 to 3 games a week all season long. Please like and subscribe today. Braves Country Baseball.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's Employee of the Month, 2 months in a row. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's me, Jamie. I just had a new idea for our song about the Name Your Price tool. So when it's like, tell us what you want to pay, hey, 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 and the trombone goes, blah, 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 and you say, we'll help you find coverage options to fit your budget. Then we just all do finger snaps while a choir goes, savings coming at ya, savings coming at ya. Yes? No? Maybe? Anyway, see you at practice tonight. I got new lyrics for the rap break.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You're listening to Braves Country. Weekdays, 3 to 5 p.m. on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key. Please like and subscribe today. YouTube.com/@Braves Country. We are back. And if you're watching on Braves Country HD, I actually got a hold of some radar that you can climb in on and see of the Atlanta, Georgia area. And this is from 3 minutes ago that it was shared. And I don't know when this actually took place, but we got radar and we're going to keep that there. I'm going to see if there's a way for me to actually get a live radar going on. So if you can take the wheel for a second, Joey, I want to go ahead and hit that up. We're supposed to be talking some stupid underdogs. Give me your thought process of your stupid underdogs. I'm going to see if I can find an actual live radar of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at the super underdogs, you got in the NFL 3 games this weekend where the spreads are really, taking off here on the charts. We talked about Miami and Buffalo a little bit. That's currently at 14. That just changed in the last half hour, literally when we were on the show, from 13 to 14. So with the third string quarterback most likely getting the start for Miami, it's ugly there with the 14-point spread. The other 2 games to be looking at is Seattle and San Francisco. Right now, Seattle is currently plus 10. That one's going to be obviously tough because, Seattle getting in there, I thought Green Bay would, but it didn't happen. And then the other game that you could potentially choose a super underdog would be Ravens plus 10.5. Obviously, we don't know the quarterback situation fully there as they head into Cincinnati. So between those 3 games, there's a lot happening. And if the one I personally like most, and I'm hoping it's open and on the docket, is I'm between Seattle and Baltimore, but if I had to take one, I'm only going to do it because I know who's playing quarterback for them. I am going to go with Seattle. I don't think they're going to actually win this game, but when you only have limited options to choose from as we get dwindled down, unfortunately, on this 2023 NFL season, that's where we're headed. And I really do think that Seattle, if they edge out a game plan where they could have time of possession, Brock Purdy, he's probably not going to light up the scoreboard, even though he's shown signs. This is the playoffs, and things get tighter as I see the live stream coming in here now, which looks actually really good if you're watching on Braves Country on YouTube. So we're keeping everyone up to date there, as Mac has a great handle on that. But overall, I'm liking Seattle plus 10 as my super underdog.
Yeah, so we finally get that's a live radar. I'm being told, so we'll keep that up until the end of the show. Braves Country HD on YouTube, and we'll go ahead and share that to our social media as well. So you're going with who? I'm sorry.
Hey, you were taking care of business there. I'm going to go, if they're available, I think I might even be the first one, so that they all might be Seattle plus 10 at San Francisco. And
Seattle plus 10.
And the only reason I took them is because Geno Smith's been consistent there. Baltimore has a big spread. We don't know what's going to happen. And Miami, we know what's going to happen. So I'll go with Seattle plus 10.
Okay. So you're going to go with Seattle with the stupid underdogs. And I think I got sidetracked and didn't get Justin's. I'll have to get his off air. I'm probably going to wait until tomorrow to do my stupid underdogs, or maybe even Saturday for the 3 to 4:30 kickoff show that we'll have right here on the Key, and we'll also be on YouTube and all of our streaming platforms. By the way, if I haven't mentioned it before, we are now live, obviously, on the Key and some CBS affiliates that pick us up from time to time, but then also we're live on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. Just look up Braves Country HD. You can also look that up for the podcast, the replay. We're on TuneIn Radio. We are on Apple, Spotify, and Podbean. I think I tried them all out. I think Spotify is the best one, but
good. I have Spotify.
Yeah, I didn't know this was a thing. I had no idea that this was a thing that people listen to talk shows at 1.5 speed and sometimes times 2 speed because they listen to it faster. I tried to listen to it. I don't know. It's not as enjoyable to me, man. I was like, I tried to pick up some of the shows I listened to. I was like, man, I just feel like the whole time I have to be just sitting there listening. I mean, maybe if you're driving down the road, I get it, but I was like, I was joking with the guys and said that, I listened to one of my rants at like 2.5 and I about got motion sickness.
You did tell us that.
I couldn't close that app fast enough, man. I was like, what is this idiot talking about? I was like, oh, it's me.
Can't even focus. What's going on? I talk fast enough.
But you focus on what you're mad at. Is it the Braves? Is it the Falcons? What are you mad about today? Focus. We got that. We got the stream going. So hopefully, I don't have to go crazy and rip us down on that any of the social media pages. But I figure we're doing the Atlanta area service. So in case you don't have power or whatever, you can find us on any of these with the Braves Country HD, and you can see the stream as you listen along on the key. All right, so stupid underdog. You're going with Seattle. Who's your lock this week? And I know we're going to trip over each other, so I'm not even worried about if someone has the same lock as the other, because it's impossible. There's
Right.
6 games. There's almost 10 contributors now on a weekly basis. We're going to trip over each other, so it's fine.
Like you say, the deepest bench in all of sports talk. That's for sure.
That's right.
I'm going to go.
Yeah, we still play a half-court offense.
Hey, if we take the 3-point line away, we'll be pretty good.
Deepest bench in all of sports talk radio, and we're nothing but set shot Sally. Everyone's too lazy to run a pick and roll. Nobody's rebounding.
Doggy picking at the other end.
My lock for the day, by the way, I put it on Twitter every day around noon, but my lock for the day is I did a parlay today. I was feeling frisky, and I only do one, maybe 2 of these a week on my locks, but today I went with a parlay. I liked the idea of, so the Celtics on the money line, they're on the road tonight in Brooklyn, a big match at 1 versus 2 in the Eastern Conference, an NBA game I'll actually watch, probably almost start to finish. And I like UW, the Huskies. These are 2 really bad teams in the Pac-12, but they're only giving up 2. So I took them both on the money line, the Celtics and the Huskies. It's a money line of a plus 190. They're both the home team. Oh, excuse me. Celtics are the better team. Washington's the home team. They're taking on Stanford. The 2 teams are combined for, it's either 1-10 or 1-11.
Oh, wow.
Awful. I was reading up on both of them. I was like, man, I'm looking at this. I really think Washington should be favored just a little more. So I'm going with the Huskies, but I did chicken out and do the money line. I did do the money line. So I don't like taking a lot of lines in basketball. I usually try to find a money line that I feel like that I can hit, because the one last night was different. I knew Wake Forest was going to blow up Florida State, so I gave up 8. They won by 15. But normally, man, it's so easy to get clipped on the money line. What is your clip? I mean, your lock, excuse me.
I'm going to go to a lot of people. There's a lot of questions about this team being one of the worst, teams to put up so many points in the regular season. But the Minnesota Vikings on their home field, -3 right now. I think they're going to win this game by about a touchdown. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad game. I think it will be a pretty good football game overall. But at the end of the day, I think that Minnesota offense is really going to come to play. And I think they realize after the first time they played them that, hey, if you could take Barkley out of the picture, they're probably not going to get a lot going offensively. So I like the Vikings -3 at home as my lock this weekend.
That's funny because both Justin and I think the Giants are going to pull off the upset.
Oh, no. Hey, wouldn't be the first time I'm wrong. My lock Tuesday hit, so I was happy about that. But 2 for 2's tough sledding.
Yeah, I was going to put the updated standings on here, but I felt like this tornado watch is a little more important. So
I would agree. I'm 500, so this is a big one for me. I need this one.
Yeah, they're I think it's going to be difficult to beat a team twice in about a 3-week span. I get it that they're the home team, and realistically they're the more talented team. But what concerns me the most about this is you've got a team in the Vikings that no matter how many points they tend to put up, they never seem to put anyone away, and their defense stinks. So that's kind of my reason for the whole thing, but it is what it is. as we head here towards the top of the hour. Sorry, I'm trying to share this again to social medias for anyone who's out there, searching the hashtags. Wanted to make sure that they knew what was going on.
Absolutely.
Derek Carr. So he gone. He came out and had a statement. If you heard the Sports Flash, he basically read a statement that said thank you to the fan base, even though he's technically still there for a year, but he knows that he's either getting traded or dropped. You're a Colts fan. It's that time again.
Oh,
man. Time to dream and wish that you just plug and play. Are you in on Derek Carr, or is it time to give up on that and draft a quarterback?
It's totally time to give up. Now, my only caveat and wild thing would be this. If for some reason they make the decision to trade for Derek Carr, whatever that package may be, then at number 4, I would take probably who's left, Will Levis or whatever quarterback's available. So at least if you get Derek Carr wrong, you got a rookie who's high enough. But I would avoid that whole situation. That's more of my
See, that's the thing. You can't do that. If you trade for Derek Carr, you cannot draft a quarterback because it's instant. Unless you don't give up much and you don't extend him, but it's instant. There's going to be infighting immediately.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, look at when it happened with Alex Smith.
I feel like you either have to draft a quarterback or you put a package together to get Derek Carr. And when you get Derek Carr, you're only doing it if he agrees to an extension.
Yeah, because he's only 31 years old. It's not like he's over the fill like a Matt Ryan.
Dude, doesn't it seem like he's 38?
I know. I couldn't believe when I looked it up, 31, because he's been playing for almost over a decade now. So I would go in the draft personally at the number 4 pick. If I can move up to number 1 and trade with Chicago, I'm doing that because I want to get the best quarterback available who fits our team, which I think would be CJ Stroud. But if I have to stay at 4, I'll take one there. I would avoid the veteran route. Let's stop. Rivers, Brissett, Wentz, Matt Ryan. I'm done with that train. Derek Carr, you're a good guy, great guy. I'll go with the draft.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just, man, I don't know.
What about for the Titans? I heard you talking about
the number 4 pick. This draft, man, I think you've got to draft a quarterback and just say the heck with all that.
Now, a little different scenario with your team in Tennessee. I heard a little bit of you and Justin, but wouldn't even be worth it to trade away assets for him most likely? Or would you say, hey, you know what? He's better than Tannehill. I'll take him.
It depends on what they would have to give up, but they're sitting down there at the 11th pick where there's not a quarterback, in my opinion, worth taking, right? The Colts are now at the 4th pick. Is that right?
Correct.
Is that what you said, 4th? Okay.
Yep.
When they were projected the 8th pick, they were talking about Anthony Richardson. And I'm like, oof.
That's a project.
He's talented, but that's a project. That's not instant offense.
Nope.
I'm not sure about Will Levis. I am so on the fence with him because the few times I've watched him play, he's had terrible games. That doesn't mean he's terrible. It just means I've caught him against tough matchups, right?
That's why I want to move to number 1 so badly, because with the Texans at 2 needing a quarterback, I feel like we got to get to 1 and take the franchise, somebody who could try to win right away, at least develop in that direction.
Yeah, if you can move up, it's Bryce Young. I think Houston will be okay with we get Bryce Young, we'll get CJ Stroud. We're not trading up. Right?
That's my thoughts.
But if you can move up, because who is 3?
Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona's not drafting a quarterback, but Arizona might trade back. You never know. What's your walk-off? We got to run.
My walk-off is I'll be enjoying TNT Hoops tonight. Huge game, as Max said, with Boston and Brooklyn at 7:30. I'll be watching.
That for one, actually, we'll be watching that too. Maybe even start to finish. Probably not, but maybe.
Hey,
my walk-off is everyone be safe. Keep it locked in here for WQEE for any kind of storm updates. We'll see you tomorrow, God willing, 3 to 5, Braves Country HD, and Saturday we'll be here 3 to 4:30, taking you to the NFL playoff kickoff.
Goodbye, sweetheart, well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart, goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to Braves Country with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks on 99.1 FM WQEE, The Key in Noonan, Georgia, and simulcasting on youtube.com/@Braves Country. Braves Country comes your way weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. Please follow, like, and subscribe today. Armchair Quarterback Radio, your first choice for Southern sports.
Something of the 5th of September. Something of the 5th of September. She said a lot that I can't remember. Something of the 5th. Can I get another cigarette, please? Can I get another cigarette, please? Yeah, I know I live to regret it. Just give me another cigarette, please.
You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Noonan, Georgia.
Are you looking for a reliable dental practice that not only cares about your teeth, but is friendly to work with? How about one that offers great deals and new patient promotions? Well, your search is over. Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton, Georgia is committed to giving you the biggest and brightest smile. Right now, get a $99 new patient special, including x-rays and exam. Maybe you're looking for veneers. Most Valuable Smiles veneer special includes one free veneer with every 5 purchased. Or get that bright white smile you've always wanted by taking advantage of an exclusive $100 off Zoom whitening treatment